This morning, we wanted to share a bit with you about the pantry, more than just an announcement's worth. And also, you've heard enough from me. I want you to hear from some others. And so, just to kind of give you a little background, it was about 3 years ago. I had written some things on my board that I was praying for, and one of them was for someone to oversee this team that we were kind of thinking about, and by we, I just mean me, because I hadn't told anybody yet, of ways that we could show greater care and compassion to those in our community. And we were at a March Madness event, and downstairs, Moose comes over and she grabs me and goes, "Pastor Ash, can we talk?" Which, by the way, is like the worst thing you can ever say to a pastor. We just like, And I was like, "Okay." And she goes, "So Sarah and I have been praying about this thing, about a mercy ministry." And they were reading this book by Tim Keller, which is an incredible book called, is it Mercy Ministry or Ministry of Mercy? Ministries of Mercy. And I just kind of looked at her like, And she's like, "Pastor Ash, you okay?" And I brought her upstairs and I showed her my board and I said, "That question mark right there apparently was you and Sarah. That's who I've been praying for." And so about 3 years ago, we started the Hands and Feet team, right? And we started setting aside an additional 5% of our giving, just like we set aside 10% for helping churches thrive. And to be honest, we didn't really know what this was in the beginning. We just felt God calling us to something, kind of like Isaiah this morning, kind of like Abraham being called to go to a place he wasn't aware of. And that's how we felt God calling us. And they started serving at a couple of local organizations that they're going to tell you about. And it's this 3-4 year journey that's kind of led us to this point. And so with that, I'm going to hand the mic over to Sarah and Amrita. I guess I'm going to hand it to Amrita, not Sarah. And they're going to tell you a little bit. A few of you were asking me after service, "What's the pantry?" Stay 15 minutes. They're going to tell you. Now we're ready for that. Y'all ready? Can we give them a round of applause and welcome?
Thank you. Testing. Okay, it is working. Hi, everyone. My name is Amrita. I'm a member here at Redemption, and I'm also one of the leads of our Hands and Feet team, I guess.
And I'm Sarah Phillip, also a lead of Hands and Feet.
And we're excited to finally share with you this next chapter of the Hands and Feet team and of the ministries that we're hoping to start here at Redemption. So before we begin, we wanted to share with you what the mission and vision of the Hands and Feet team is. So as a ministry, we seek to be the hands and feet of Jesus through word and deed, driven by unconditional love. In response to God's grace in our own lives, this ministry at Redemption strives to meet the physical needs of those in our church and our neighbors for the purpose of righteousness. All of this as a sacrifice of praise. There have been a couple ways that we've been able to achieve this over the past 3 years that this ministry has been in existence. The ways that we've helped internally in our church body is that we've provided financial support to those that are in need through the Hands and Feet Fund. People will talk to the pastors if they have some sort of need, and whatever can be provided to them, will be. And then in terms of another way that we've been able to help people in the church body is by starting a meal train for the Hardman's family, so that they could have weekly meals provided by the church to kind of assist them and their family. Ways in which we've helped the community in providing for physical needs. One, every year we've been doing Thanksgiving meals with the local township and providing those, just like we did a couple weeks ago. We also started the campaign for the compassion kits that so many of you have been taking and passing them out, which has been really great to see. And in addition, there is money that we give monthly from the Hands and Feet Team Fund to go help to assist Journeys, which will provide a home, a place for an unhoused person to live for at least a month or a day, however long that they need. And so these are the ways that so far we've been able to help in our community.
So in light of the mission and vision statement that Amrita just shared, we are so excited to introduce you all to our newest chapter called The Pantry. As I said, it's the newest chapter of this ministry, and it's where we will strive to meet the physical needs of caregivers and their children in our community. And we will hope to do that by giving them the supplies that they are in need of. So the inspiration for the pantry actually began back in 2019 when our small group of Hands and Feet began volunteering at the Salvation Army in Des Plaines with their Breakfast with Baby program. Breakfast with Baby is a nationwide program that supports predominantly single mothers by providing them essential items such as diapers, wipes, clothes, toys, and any other essential things that they need. They would also be provided a short message from the Bible and prayer. Breakfast with Baby typically runs one Saturday morning a month, and prior to the pandemic, it, as I said, predominantly consisted of single mothers who would arrive with their young children. They were given a warm breakfast, and then the children typically had an opportunity to go play, and the caregivers were given a time to choose some items that they needed, which were donated to the program. Obviously, when the pandemic started, the format of Breakfast with Baby had to change a little bit, but they were still able to continue to provide those families with the items that they needed, especially the diapers and the wipes. Over the summer, we also had the opportunity to observe another Breakfast with Baby program in Mount Prospect at the St. Paul's Lutheran Church. They ran everything pretty similarly, but at that time it was using a drive-through model. And again, they were still able to provide the families with the items that they needed. So volunteering month after month for all these years really impacted both Amrita and I in deeply profound ways. For me personally, God just continued to grow and deepen my heart for children. Especially just catching a glimpse of the weight that being a single caregiver, but really just a caregiver in need really is. Also being a new mom myself, God really has been opening my eyes to just how many needs and how demanding that season of life is. And I was just starting to see how meeting that first basic need of those children and families really lifted such a weight during such a demanding season of life.
Yeah, and for me, I was really affected by both the pre-COVID and during COVID process that Breakfast with Baby had gone through. The needs that they were providing never subsided. If anything, it only grew. During the pandemic, Breakfast with Baby would see over 70 families come through, and that was pretty consistent month after month. And also, when you get to see the same families month after month, you get to form relationships, which is actually really quite wonderful. And so seeing this ever-present need and relationships that we were able to form, it's what gave us the vision to start a new ministry here at Redemption. The need is so great that we can start something here. And we can't even imagine all that God can do in our community in and through a program like this. We only have a small idea of what it could be, but we're really hopeful to see what God can do here. And so in starting this whole process, we've been working for quite some time to develop this new initiative here at Redemption, which we are choosing to call the Pantry. This wasn't something that we rushed into, but it's been a culmination of much thought and consideration. And in doing so, we've laid out 4 different phases to roll out the pantry. The first phase was for information gathering. We knew that the pantry would be a ministry where we could provide for physical needs of the most vulnerable people. So we had a few questions we had to answer. Who are we going to help? What were we going to give? Where are we going to do this? And how are we going to implement this plan? And so we took the time to learn from existing programs and see what worked, what didn't work, what did we like, what could we change and make better, or what more suited for our church family. The second phase that we launched into was logistical planning for Redemption, which we started basically in the summer. So similar to Breakfast with Baby, we figured we could start off with starting to provide diapers and wipes and other supplies to caregivers in the community. And we kind of hashed out some of the details that went behind how we can do this really well. The third phase, which is the phase that we are currently in, is implementation. This would be bringing the church into the program, inviting you all to partner with us, help us to set up this program, volunteer, get the word out, and actually start and launch the pantry. And the fourth and final phase would be to expand our reach and the population we serve to not just be caregivers, but anyone in need. So, and that's part of the reason why we didn't go with the name Breakfast with Baby, because it was sort of limiting in terms of who might think that they could benefit. By using the name The Pantry, it's quite broad, and so we can grow as a church and expand this program pretty well.
So what will it actually look like here at Redemption? We are first anticipating to start in the early months of 2022. We're hoping that it would run every third Saturday of the month from 8 to 10 a.m. We are going to facilitate the whole thing using a drive-through model where the families would drive up into our parking lot. They would be greeted by our team of volunteers, directed to a specific spot in the parking lot, and then gather what is needed by the families. Each family would also be given a pack of diapers and wipes, and then, like I said, anything additional that they are requesting and that we have in our inventory, which would have been donated. The volunteers would work efficiently to provide those items to the families, and then going off of the phases that Amrita just explained, our future phase would be to hopefully, as the pantry has been facilitated for some time, our hope is that at some point we can invite the guests into our church home and remove that drive-through model.
So in terms of what we're going to need from the church, so from the Hands and Feet Fund, we're going to be purchasing the diapers and wipes that we hope to distribute, but the following items are things that we are asking for the church to donate. This would be clothes, toys, books, formula, and other variety of baby supplies that you might have in hand. The things that we are asking to be donated must be in good quality, something that you would be willing to give to your own family member or have yourself. In addition, if you have something like unused diapers, we would accept those donations as well, but the bulk of our diapers will be ordered so that we can ensure we have enough of a supply to hand out. But if you have anything left over, it's not like you can't provide that to us as well. In addition, we would also need volunteers. Sorry, technical difficulties. Okay. So for the volunteers that we need, there is going to be a little bit of a commitment, of course, that we're going to ask from those that choose to sign up and serve us every month. We would ask for people to come a little bit before 8 a.m., stay a little bit after 10 to set up and clean. We anticipate that we need about 10 volunteers a month to pull off the program really well. This would be enough people that could welcome visitors that come through and then assess whatever they need, and then as well as runners who would go back inside, get the items, and we would need people inside to track what's being given. So approximately 10 people would be needed every month. In addition, it's not like you are going to be locked in to serve every month, meaning we're not going to necessarily have a designated team like kids ministry. But we hope that this would be something that you would take the time to commit to yourselves to participate in every month. In order to sign up, we would use the church app to get the name of volunteers. And additionally, a couple things that we want to note for our volunteers. A lot of the population that come through that we've noticed with Breakfast with Baby is Spanish speaking. So we really would encourage anyone that is Spanish speaking to prioritize this ministry and make time to serve, because we don't want communication to be a barrier for us to help other people that come through. In addition, in line with Redemption's family ministry mission, we are excited to provide an avenue where children can participate in service as well. We hope that parents can use the pantry to teach and model to their children what it means to serve others, think about their community and how to serve, and also have them participate alongside with their church family. It really would be a great opportunity for them to see what it's like to serve and think about people in the outside world. And then in terms of how we plan to get the word out on the pantry, we plan to utilize Facebook ads, give announcements to the township and food banks, local community centers, as well as provide visible signs to set up the day of so people know how to come through and where to go in order to receive their diapers.
All right, so next steps. What are some things that you can do starting now? First and foremost, please pray for us. Pray for our team as we continue to plan and prepare for the launch of the pantry. And then there are 2 ways that you can even sign up starting today. The first sign up is for our preparation and setup day, which is going to be January 29th. On that day, we hope to clear out a room downstairs that would be dedicated for the pantry for all of our items that would be donated, organize all of those, prep the diaper packs and wipes, and get everything set up for the actual launch. You can sign up for that on the events page, like I said, even starting today. The second way that you can sign up for the pantry is for the actual launch of the pantry and to serve with us on that day. It is anticipated to be in the early months of next year, but you can also sign up for that on the events page on our app or website. Additionally, if you have items that you want to start donating, please start doing so next week. We'll have a designated place downstairs. It will be labeled, and you can drop off your items in that area. Again, just a friendly reminder to make sure that if you are donating, that those items are in good condition and items that you yourself would want to receive for your family. And then lastly, if you have any questions for us that maybe you think of later or you can't ask today, you can email us at thepantry@redemptionbiblechurch.org. And now we are just wanting to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts for coming, taking a little extra time on your Sunday to listen to us and hear our hearts behind this and just what God's been doing in us over the last few years. We hope and pray that God is stirring in your heart as well to serve this community in this way. At this point, we just want to open it up for anyone who has any questions for us, and we will hopefully try to answer them. Yes, that is the hope. We're going to have I guess, sort of like an info card when the families arrive, where we will take down their name, the age of their children or child, anything else, contact info, and then we will upload it into some sort of system where we can keep track of if they come again the next month. And the hope is that they wouldn't have to keep filling it out if they are returning members, but only once. Yes. Yeah, so there's going to be 2 different signups. The first signup would be just to help us get everything ready. That's going to be next month. And then the other sign-up would be for the actual lunch. So if you are interested in serving on that Saturday for the lunch, then we would keep you updated once we have that information from you with more of the specific details of that launch date.
Anyone else? Any other questions? Rich. So the question was, how are we going to determine what kind of supplies go through? So really, it's going to be determined by what we have. So if we have clothes donated, the hope is that what we wish to do is organize all the clothes by size and gender. And when people come through, if they specify to us what they need, and if we have it, we would give that to them. In terms of books and supplies, that's the same thing. It would be organized by age or reading level or type of toy. And really, it's a come first type of basis. So if we don't have something, we're not going to really ask if they if they needed it because we don't have it. In addition, we hope to have like a whiteboard set up so that if we have any special items, like let's say someone donates a mattress in good condition or stroller in good condition, we can put that up on the whiteboard, and if someone needs it, they'll let us know when they drive through. So good question. Back. Right. So the question is, if there were people inside our church community who needed these supplies, would they be allowed to receive them? And the answer is yes. A couple ways that they could, try to access whatever they need is coming through themselves during the pantry on the third Saturday of the month. In addition, they could also email us at our email address or contact the pastors as well to let them know that they have a need. So yes, it would be available to our church community as well. Go ahead. So the question was whether or not we were going to provide English or Spanish Bibles. Now, as of yet, we don't really have that ordered. I think our hope is that we would invite those who are English speaking, that they can, come to our church. I think Sarah and I at some point had also discussed partnering with a Spanish speaking church so that we can also direct them there as well. So again, that language wouldn't be a barrier, but also as a church, we could provide them a way to access some sort of church community. So as of Pastor Ash, let me just make a little caveat. He is ordering something right now as we speak. Anyone else?
Yeah, great question. So when we were able to observe the Breakfast with Baby happening at St. Paul, we saw that there was one of the volunteers who would have the time to, while the runners were running in and out, getting them the materials, there was another volunteer who was Spanish speaking and just talking with the families, and we saw him praying with the families and following up, and that was also one of the reasons why they were keeping track of the name and the contact info, so if there was a follow-up need, they were able to do that. And so that's definitely a hope of ours, is that we can not just, like you said, give them the items that they need, but also start developing that relationship, especially if they're gonna end up coming month after month. So yes, for sure, we're hoping in our vision we see, kids running in and out to help get the materials, and then we're hoping that the other volunteers could have those conversations with the families, offer them some prayer if they would like it, offer them a Bible if they'll take it. And then one other thing that we haven't, I'm not sure if we're going to set this up for the first month, but we're also hoping to put together little activity packs for the kids that we can give to them. Just something about the Bible, maybe a coloring sheet, just something simple, but something for the kids specifically too. Anybody else? All right, well, thank you so much for coming. And of course, if you have more questions, you can email us.
Let's bow your heads with me. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for the way in which you have been moving in these two hearts right here next to me. Thank you for the way in which they have desired to follow your call, even though we didn't know exactly where it was leading, but it's led to this point. And I thank you for them sharing what has been on their heart, what has been growing over the last really 2 years that has led to this point. I thank you for the people in this room. I thank you for the people who are watching online. And God, I pray that you would continue stirring in our hearts a desire to serve our community. And this is, I think we all know that's something that we have not done a great job of in our church's history. And that's I think why I'm so excited about what it is that you're doing in and through the pantry now, God. And so I pray for Sarah and Amrita. I pray for these next few weeks as we begin ordering supplies and putting the final pieces together. I pray for everyone who signs up to come serve at our workday in January and as we launch this in February and March. God, thank you for this. Thank you that we get to be the hands and feet of Jesus. And it's in his name we pray. In one loud voice together, amen.